the wolf. Once upon a time, in a place called Russia, there lived a boy called Peter. He wasn't very big, and he wasn't very old, but he was as brave as a bear. Well, Peter lived with his old grandfather in a little house with a tiny garden. But through the garden gate was a big green meadow and a silver pond. And beyond that, a great forest of tall trees and dark shadows. One springing morning, Peter opened the garden gate and stepped into the meadow. He breathed in, enjoying all the wonderful smells of the wild world, and then remembering something, he took a few steps towards the pond, but stopped underneath an old willow tree, and then looked up into its bud-bursting branches. There, his little friend, a bird with black feathers and an orange beak. When the blackbird saw Peter, he flitted and fluttered down to the ground and sang out a greeting. Good morning, Peter, said the blackbird. It's good to see you again, and I'm happy to report that all's well in the world. Peter was so happy to see his friend again. It made his heart sing. It's good to see you too, said Peter. That's right. We're going to have some wild adventures out here in the meadow. Because me and you, Birdie, we're not afraid of anything. But in his hurry to go out into the meadow, Peter had forgotten to close the garden gate. What harm could happen from an open gate? Huh? Listen. Who's this? Waddling through the open gate, with wide webbed feet and muddy brown feathers. The duck. She was so happy to be out of the little garden and free at last, and to go for a bath in the silver pond. The little bird flew closer to get a look at this clumsy creature. But the duck took no notice. She simply plopped into the pond and began to paddle. Soon she was enjoying the cool, clear water of the pond and the fine, fresh air in the meadow. So we started this project almost exactly a year ago. Our first show was November in Bristol at St George's, Bristol. Yep. And well, it was your daughter, wasn't it, who came up with the idea? That
yeah, in fact we were on the way back from a show in Cardiff.
Ah, good old Cardiff, a fertile
And we
ground.
said, what would be a really nice show with music, storytelling and music? And she went, what about Peter and the Wolf? And
so the idea was born, and then Eddie locked himself away. For how long?
For about a month.
The back door of Peter's house slowly creaked open. Peter's grandfather came stumbling out of the house into the garden, pulling up his breeches, with a bristling beard and bleary eyes. When he saw the open gate, he shouted to his grandson, Peter, Peter, how many times have I told you not to go into the meadow alone? It's not safe. Well, what if a wolf should come out of the forest and you would be the proper pickled Peter? You should listen to your old grandfather. He knows about wolves.
Eddie and I sitting down and trying to work out what we really wanted to do was not only tell the story with the music, but overlay the music and the words so that it wasn't just playing some music and then a gap and then some story and then more music, but we overlaid it. And it took some time to get that overlaid really well, but hopefully...
Because Martin, the original Prokofiev one has a little bit of storytelling, text and narration, then music, then narration, and you wanted to mix it all.
lay the two together, yeah. And as a storyteller, I think one of the things I want to do is paint pictures, so to try and use the words to paint a picture of the garden, the meadow, of the wolf coming out of the shadows of the forest, so trying to feel the emotion of the music, which I think is brilliant.
Isn't there an educational theorist that says something about that what you do with that? What's the terminology for that?
Possibly elaborative encoding.
Oh, yes, elaborative encoding. Thank you, I needed that.
But no sooner had the door closed behind Peter and his grandfather, than something sinister began to stir in the shadows of the forest. Something was lurking. Something with dark fur and bright teeth. Something fierce and ferocious. Something big and bad. A great grey wolf came stepping out of the forest and into the meadow, licking his lips. Hungry. Hunting for something to eat.
Whilst we have been rehearsing our show to come here to the fantastic Acapela Studio, David's been trying to write an essay. So we've been mixing up our academia with our creative music. But we've loved this venue. It's been amazing. I love the chapel, don't you?
Yeah, it's so gorgeous. Yeah, very nice. A lovely audience we had tonight as well.
Very good.
And
more beautiful than the Wales Millennium Centre, I thought.
Yes.
Well,
We'd rather come here than
maybe it's
there.
the time of day.
So I would say that acapella is light on frills, but great on expertise.
Is that what it means? If you just translated acapella?
Thank you. How's your Italian?
Not so good. So we're really proud of the piece, and hopefully the audience were fantastic and they gave us some lovely feedback. Combining classical music and oral storytelling and trying to bring a bit of magic into the whole fantastic Prokofiev piece.
Inside the house, Peter was feeling sad about the gobbled up duck. And he was feeling bad too, because it was he who had left the garden gate open in the first place. Remember that? Why didn't you say something? But Peter was a big boy now. And big boys were not afraid of anything. We're not even afraid of wild wolves. While grandfather was sleeping, Peter tiptoed out of the house. He went into the garden shed and took a long piece of rope, and then he climbed up onto the garden wall, and from there he could just reach one of the branches of the willow and pull himself up. And there he perched in the tree, next to his little friend, the blackbird. Peter had a big plan to catch the wolf, but he needed a little help. He told the blackbird to swoop down from the tree and fly around the wolf's head, but don't let him catch you in his jaws. Well, the vicious wolf, he leapt and twisted up in the air, and then he snapped, image of the wolf's snapping jaws. How fierce and furious and frantic was the wolf. But no matter how hard he tried, the wolf simply couldn't catch the bird.